in old age. Learn to be unbothered. Never answer these questions. Now, I didn't come to that understanding quickly, and I certainly didn't learn it from books or lectures. I learned it the slow way, the way most of us do, through years of saying too much, explaining too much, and caring too much about things that in the end never truly deserve my energy. When you're young, you believe every question deserves an answer. You think silence is weakness, that you must defend your choices, justify your life, and prove your worth to anyone who asks. But as the years pass, something changes. You begin to notice that not every question is asked with kindness, and not every curiosity deserves your honesty. I remember a time when I would sit with people, family, friends, even strangers, and feel this quiet pressure to respond to everything they would ask about my work, my finances, my decisions, my regrets. Some other questions sounded polite on the surface, but underneath there was judgment, comparison, or even a subtle kind of control. Back then, I thought being open was the same as being good. I thought answering everything made me respectable, but what it actually did was drain me. It left me tired, irritated, and sometimes even ashamed. Not because I had done anything wrong, but because I had allowed others to define the conversation. As you grow older, you begin to see patterns. You notice that certain questions come again and again, no matter who you're talking to. Questions about money, for instance. People will ask in different ways, but the intention is often the same. They want to measure you. They want to place you somewhere on a scale, successful or not, comfortable or struggling. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself explaining numbers, decisions, or circumstances that are deeply personal to people who have no real stake in your life. I've learned that these are questions you don't have to answer. A simple smile, a change of subject, or even silence can protect more than any explanation ever could. Then there are the questions that sound like advice but feel like criticism. You know the ones, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you try that? Why aren't you closer to your children? Why didn't you save more? These questions don't come to understand you. They come to rewrite your past. And no matter how carefully you both respond, you will never satisfy the person asking, because the question itself isn't looking for truth. It's looking for confirmation of their own beliefs. I spent years trying to answer those questions, honestly thinking that if I explained myself clearly enough, people would understand. But they rarely did. Eventually, I realized something simple but powerful. You are not obligated to defend a life that you have already lived. There was a moment not too long ago when someone asked me what I considered to be one of those, the necessary questions. They looked at me and said, Do you have any regrets? It sounds harmless, doesn't it? Almost philosophical, but I could feel the weight behind it, the expectation that I would open up, revisit old wounds, and offer something meaningful for their curiosity. And for the first time, I didn't answer the way I used to. I simply said, I've lived my life the best way I knew how, and left it at that. No long explanation, no emotional unpacking, just a boundary. And you know what? The conversation moved on. The world didn't stop, and I felt lighter. That's when it really became clear to me. Peace in old age is not about controlling the world around you. It's about controlling your responses. You begin to understand that attention is a kind of currency. Every time you engage, every time you explain, every time you defend, you're spending something valuable. And at this stage in life, you start to ask yourself a very simple question. Is this worth it? Most of the time, the answer is no. There are also those questions that try to pull you into comparison. People will talk about others your age, what they've achieved, where they've traveled, how they live, and then turn to you with a look that quietly asks, what about you? It's subtle, but it's there. And if you're not grounded, it can stir something inside you. Maybe doubt, maybe defensiveness. But here's what I've learned. Comparison is a young person's game by the time you reach this stage of life. You've already walked your path. It may not look like someone else's, but it was never supposed to. So when those questions come, you don't need to compete. You don't need to. Both explain why your journey looks the way it does. You simply accept it. And more importantly, you protect it. Another kind of question I've learned to avoid answering is the one that tries to pull you into conflict. It might start as gossip or a casual remark about someone else, and then suddenly you're being asked for your opinion. What do you think about them do? You agree with what they did? And these questions can seem harmless, but they often lead to unnecessary tension. In my younger years, I would engage, I would share my thoughts, thinking I was contributing to the conversation. But more often than not, it created complications, misunderstandings, hurt feelings, or words that traveled further than I intended. Now I choose differently. I've learned that not every opinion needs to be spoken, and not every discussion needs my voice. What surprises many people is that being bothered doesn't mean being cold or indifferent. It doesn't mean you stop caring about people or the world. It means you become more selective. You care more deeply, but about fewer things. You invest your energy where it truly matters: your health, your peace of mind, the people who respect you, and the moments that bring you quiet joy. Everything else becomes background noise. I've also noticed that when you stop answering certain questions, something interesting happens. People begin to adjust. They may not realize it consciously, but they sense your boundaries. Conversations become lighter, more respectful, and those who continue to push, who insist on crossing those boundaries, reveal something important about themselves. They show you that they're not really there to connect. They're there to pry, to judge, or to control. And once you see that clearly, it becomes much easier to step back. One of the hardest lessons for me was learning that you don't need to correct every misunderstanding. Sometimes people will form opinions about your life that are incomplete or even completely wrong. In the past, that would have bothered me. I would feel the urge to explain, to set the record straight. But over time, I realized that clarity is not always worth the cost. You can spend hours, even days, trying to fix someone else's perception and still not succeed. Meanwhile, your own peace slips away. So now I let the people think what they want, not because I agree with them, but because I no longer need their agreement to feel secure in who I am. And perhaps the most important thing I've come to understand is this: silence is not circulation. It is strength. It is a decision. When you choose not to answer a question that doesn't serve you, are not avoiding life. You are shaping that. You are deciding what deserves your time, your words, and your energy. And that, in many ways, is the quiet freedom that comes with age. And that quiet freedom, it changes the way you move through the world. You stop reacting to every little thing, and you begin to observe more. You listen, but you don't absorb everything. You hear people speak, but you no longer feel the need to carry their opinions home with you. That's a kind of peace I didn't know existed when I was younger. Back then, everything felt personal. Every question felt like it demanded something from me. Now I see it differently. Many questions are not really about you at all. They come from other people's fears, their insecurities, their way of trying to make sense of life. And once you understand that, you stop taking them so seriously. There's another type of question that often appears as you grow older. And it's the kind that tries to reduce your life to a single story. People may ask, what was your biggest achievement, or what are you most proud of? It sounds like a compliment, but it can also feel like they're asking you to summarize decades of living into one neat answer. I used to struggle with that. I would search, find memory, trying to find something impressive enough to say. But over time, I realized that a life cannot be reduced like that. It's not one achievement, one moment, or one decision. It's 1,000 small choices, quiet sacrifices, and lessons learned in ways no one else can fully see. So now when those questions come, I don't rush to answer them in the way people expect. Sometimes I simply smile and say I'm grateful for the life I've lived, and that's enough. You will also encounter questions about your future. Even at this stage of life, people will ask what you plan to do next, what your goals are, what you're working toward, and there's nothing wrong with those questions. But sometimes they carry an assumption that your value depends on constant movement, constant productivity. I used to feel that pressure too, as if I had to keep proving that I was still useful, still progressing, still chasing something. But I've come to see that there is great value in simply, being in enjoying a quiet morning, in taking a slow walk, in sitting with your thoughts without feeling the need to turn them into something productive. So when those questions come, I answer them on my own terms, or sometimes I don't answer them at all. Because not every season of life is meant for striving. Some are meant for understanding, for appreciating, finally resting in who you are, And then there are the deeply personal questions about family, about relationships, about people who may no longer be in your life. These can be the most difficult because they touch on things that still carry emotion even after many years. People may ask why you don't see someone anymore or what happened between you and a loved one. They may be curious, or they may simply be feeling silence. But not every story needs to be told. Not every wound needs to be reopened for the sake of conversation. I've learned that it's okay to protect those parts of your life. You can acknowledge the question without giving away the details. You can honor your past without exposing it. What I've come to appreciate most is how much lighter life feels when you stop engaging with what doesn't matter. It's not that the world becomes quieter, it's that your mind does. You stop playing conversations, stop worrying about what you should have said, stop carrying the weight of other people's expectations, and in that space, something beautiful happens. You begin to hear yourself more clearly. You begin to trust your own judgment, your own rhythm, your own way of living. Some people may misunderstand this change. They may think you've become distant or uninterested or even difficult, but the truth is you've simply become more honest about where your energy goes. You're no longer trying to please everyone. You're no longer performing for approval, and that can be uncomfortable for those who are used to having access to you in a certain way. But that discomfort is not yours to fix. Everyone is responsible for their own expectations. I remember a conversation not long ago with someone who kept asking questions that felt unnecessary one after another, as that they were searching for something I wasn't willing to give. In the past, I would have answered each one politely, even if it exhausted me, but this time I paused. I let a moment of silence sit between us, and then I gently changed the subject. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't confrontational, but it was clear, and that clarity protected me in a way that words never could. That's the thing about boundaries in old age. They don't have to be loud to be strong. They can be quiet, steady, and consistent. You don't need to explain them every time. You simply live them. And over time, they become part of how people understand you. If there's one piece of advice I would offer, it's this. Pay attention to how you feel after you answer a question, not during, but after. Do you feel lighter or do you feel drained? Do you feel understood or do you feel exposed? Your body and your mind will tell you what is right for you if you're willing to listen. And once you start listening, you'll find it easier to choose when to speak and when to remain silent. Being unbothered is not about building walls. It's about both building space for your thoughts, your peace, your dignity. It's about recognizing that you don't owe the world a full explanation of your life. You've already lived it. You've already learned from it, and that is enough. So as you move forward, take that with you. Let go of the habit of answering everything. Let go of the need to be understood by everyone, both. Choose your words carefully, and don't be afraid to choose silence when it serves you better, because in the end, the questions you don't answer will often protect you more than the answers you give. Thank you for spending this time with me. I truly appreciate you being here, listening, reflecting, and sharing this quiet moment together. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon.